A killer who used to send letters to the police after his murders. Every word hid death, and every cipher held a secret the world still hasn't solved. He said, "I will never be caught." And so far, he's been right. This isn't a movie. This is the most dangerous real-life killer in American history. Zodiac. In the late 1960s, as America was stepping into a new era, a terrifying string of events began in Northern California. One that got etched into people's minds forever. This wasn't the work of an ordinary criminal. This was Zodiac. A name that, within weeks, became another word for death. It all began on December 20th, 1968. On a lonely stretch of Lake Herman Road, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen were sitting in their car. In the silence of the night, only their breathing could be heard. But moments later, that silence was shattered by gunshots. Betty Lou died on the spot, and David was shot in the head, executed in cold blood. When the police arrived, there were no witnesses, no evidence. Just blood and fear. Just 6 months later, on July 4th, 1969, the same nightmare returned at Blue Rock Springs Park. Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau were shot at point-blank range. Miraculously, Michael survived, and he told the police the killer had a flashlight in his hand. And without saying a word, he started shooting. For the police, it became yet another unsolved puzzle. But the real fear began when strange letters started arriving at the city's newspapers. Each one had a bizarre handwriting and opened with the line, "This is the Zodiac speaking." These weren't just threats. They were riddles, codes and ciphers that felt like a living nightmare. The killer warned, if the police couldn't crack them, more people would die. Zodiac wasn't just killing people. He was playing with the minds of the entire community. With every new letter, the fear kept growing. Schools tightened their security. Parents started picking up their kids themselves. And every couple meeting in quiet spots at night began to feel afraid. The police had no fingerprints, no DNA, no solid lead, only darkness. And one name, Zodiac. The most shocking part was, in every letter, Zodiac mocked the police, like he was the mastermind of some dangerous game. For him, every murder was a challenge, and every cipher, a twisted riddle, as if he was saying, "Where am I? What will I do next? You'll never know." The real terror of Zodiac wasn't just in his murders. The real fear began when he introduced himself to the world. Through hate and riddles. When the first letter arrived at the newspaper offices, everyone's eyes stopped at the same chilling line. "This is the Zodiac speaking." These words weren't just written. Each one dripped with ego, challenge, and pure terror. Each letter came with a cipher, a code filled with strange symbols, alphabets, and bizarre markings. Zodiac warned, if you fail to decode this, more people will die. The San Francisco Chronicle, Vallejo Times, and the San Francisco Examiner. These three major newspapers published his codes. And soon, the entire country was trying to solve the killer's puzzle. One cipher, known as the Z340, remained unsolved for years. In it, Zodiac claimed that anyone who cracked it would uncover his secret. People even turned to computers for help. Cryptography experts ground their teeth in frustration, but the code itself became a torment. But theories are just theories. Some said Zodiac was a military code expert. Others believed he was a schoolteacher, obsessed with riddles and dark poetry. Many pointed fingers at Arthur Lee Allen, a man who seemed suspicious from every angle. His handwriting, his troubled financial and personal life, and his strange fascination with things like Zodiac. But no solid proof ever surfaced. Another name came up, Gary Post, who many believed could be the Zodiac. His photo resembled the Zodiac sketches, and some former associates hinted that he had secretly confessed. But this too remained just a theory. There was still no proof. Years later, in 2020, a team finally cracked the Z340 cipher. The code said, "I hope you are having lots of fun and trying to catch me." And then he says he's not afraid of the gas chamber. Every word showed his arrogance, his thrill, and his hatred for society. Every message from Zodiac felt like he was saying, "I'm always around you, but you'll never figure out who I am." Police, journalists, even amateur sleuths, all became obsessed with solving his puzzle. But he always stayed one step ahead. Even today, new software, AI tools, and modern cryptography techniques are being used. Some still believe the killer is alive. Others say he's long dead. But his shadow still lingers in those files, where police cold case cabinets still bear the name Zodiac. A case that was never closed and never forgotten. Every murder, every letter, every cipher left behind a question. But one question was never answered. Who was the Zodiac? So many years have passed, but no one has the answer. This case isn't just America's. It's a global mystery. Everyone wants to understand it. But every time, all they find is darkness. Every time a new suspect came forward, people thought maybe the mystery is about to be solved. But the result was always the same: lack of evidence, forensic mistakes, and conflicting statements. Even DNA analysis was done, but the samples were either too old or already contaminated. Every time the system tried to catch Zodiac, he vanished like thin air. Did he have some kind of training that always kept him one step ahead of the police? Or was he just so clever that he broke every rule of society and created his own path every time? He had no fixed motive, no greed for money, no personal revenge. There was only one thing: control. Control over fear, the media, and society. And the most shocking part, Zodiac grew bolder with every murder. The more the police failed, the more his confidence soared. He was killing from the shadows, but taunting the media out in the open. He openly threatened the San Francisco police, and in one letter, he even claimed he would blow up school buses full of children. Every morning in the city turned into fear. Parents stopped sending their kids on school buses. When so many resources, top experts, and cutting-edge technology still can't catch a killer, only one emotion remains: frustration. Retired detectives gave their entire careers to this case. Journalists spent their lives chasing the pieces of a puzzle that never fit. And in every mind, one haunting question refuses to fade. Why did this happen? And why could no one stop it? Even today, when internet forums, Reddit threads, and true crime podcasts light up with debates about the Zodiac, they all stop at one chilling point. Is he still alive? Some experts believe Zodiac is already dead. Maybe he died quietly in a retirement home, without ever confessing. But others think he's still alive, hiding behind a new name, with his true secret buried in an old diary. And maybe that's his real victory. That even today, after all these years, his name still lives in people's minds. His fear still lingers in the files, in the memories, and in every place where people are afraid of the dark. Zodiac vanished. But the story still lives on. Zodiac wasn't just a killer. He was a phenomenon, one that didn't stop at dead bodies. His real impact was the fear he planted in people's minds, and the obsession that still keeps the world hooked on his case. Whenever the most dangerous and unsolved cases in America are mentioned, Zodiac's name is always at the top. Why? Because this case wasn't just about murder. It was about suspense, psychological warfare, and a game of media manipulation no one had ever seen before. Books were written, and each one brought new clues and new suspects. Robert Graysmith's book, Zodiac, changed the way the whole world saw the case. That book led to a blockbuster Hollywood film, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Mark Ruffalo, and Robert Downey Jr., directed by David Fincher. The film portrayed the case so intensely that the fear of Zodiac started running through people's veins all over again. Documentaries, podcasts, and TV specials all kept exploring Zodiac, each time with new angles. Netflix, Discovery Channel, and even HBO made detailed series on the case. Every time new questions were raised, but answers were never found. In pop culture, Zodiac's name became a symbol of mystery, madness, and the faces that never reveal themselves. Comics, thrillers, and even video games have featured Zodiac-inspired characters. His ciphered letters, the crosshair logo, and the line,
"This is the Zodiac speaking."
All of it has become iconic. And maybe that was his true intention, to become immortal. Not just through his killings, but through his story. A killer who didn't just tear through bodies, but through the very psyche of society. Because of him, America changed its police protocols, public paranoia intensified, and the true crime genre was reborn. Every generation revisits the case, with new tools, new theories. But in the end, it always comes back to this. The story is still unfinished. The Zodiac is gone, but his shadow still lives on, in cinema screens, crime books, and in people's nightmares. Years have passed, but with time, neither the case has gone cold, nor the passion of the people. The mystery of the Zodiac Killer is still alive, and with every new technology, every new forensic tool, the hope grows that maybe the day isn't far when the real face will finally be revealed. Modern forensic science has completely changed the way crimes are solved. Tools like DNA analysis, genealogy tracking, and artificial intelligence are now chasing answers that were out of reach for decades. Cold case units are re-examining Zodiac's letters, evidence samples, and witness statements with new resources. And behind every scan, there's just one hope: justice. In a recent breakthrough, the FBI and private cryptographers finally cracked one of Zodiac's ciphers. With every decoding, new possibilities come to light. Maybe these are the missing pieces needed to finally complete the puzzle. But technology alone can't solve this. In this battle, the public plays the biggest role. Online communities, independent sleuths, and citizen investigators are gathering data from all over the world and proposing new suspects. On Reddit threads, YouTube channels, and even TikTok videos. People dissect every clue. The more times this story is told, the more chances there are for a new hint to emerge. This isn't just about identifying a killer. It's the story of innocent lives taken by the Zodiac. It's the pain of families still waiting for closure. In every new effort, their silent screams remain. And in every new clue, their hope lives on. And until this mystery is fully uncovered, it's the job of platforms like Mystery Grave to keep the story alive. So the world never forgets that the story isn't over yet. But the mystery of the Zodiac isn't the only one. Have you ever wondered how an entire airplane with 239 people on board could vanish into thin air without a signal, without a clue, and never be found again? If Zodiac turned the ground into a house of fear, then Flight 370 gave birth to terror in the skies. If you want to uncover the truth behind this unexplained mystery, click on the video appearing in the right corner of your screen. Trust me, what happened there is even more unsettling than Zodiac.